Hello and welcome to the analysis of my dungeon run. So yeah, in this video I'm going to analyze what I did right and what I did wrong in a cleave or AoE scenario and give some valuable information and tips along the way. If you haven't watched the video that is linked right now, I suggest you go ahead and watch this because otherwise some things I'm going to say in this video will not make a lot of sense to you. So there's that. So I used some consumables just to give me a little bit more crit, um, so I get more rage. So therefore I can show the rotation a little bit better. In addition to that, this is no, a heroic dungeon. This is a normal dungeon. Yeah, this is as well due to the fact that if I would be in a heroic dungeon with a random tank or with like not the best tanks, um, then I would need to DPS stop a lot, and therefore I wouldn't be able to really show you guys how to deal optimal AoE and cleave DPS as Arms Warrior. So the first thing here is we need to talk about are these little critters, so these little animals that are running around in dungeons and the world in World of Warcraft. So yeah, this channel is all about min-maxing, so it's worth talking about those. Yeah, these if you know where they spawn in a dungeon and you can use them to get rage, you can improve your overall DPS by a lot. I give a short example so you get an idea. If you have 0 rage and you use and you hit one of those guys and you get, for example, a sword spec proc, and this will crit, and you crit on those proc, yeah, you will produce 100 rage. So it's these little things can be the difference between going into the next pull with 0 rage or 100. And everyone who plays a warrior knows how much of a difference this can be if you know how to spend your rage properly. And yeah, a small tip or a small trick you can do if you're a dual wield or a tank. You can equip a two-hander before hitting the spider or the mice or whatever, so you can double the rage you get from this trick. Okay, let's continue. I think I can fast forward to the first pull of the dungeon. Yeah, here we have it. Yeah, the tank is charging in. Let's see what will happen next. So this scenario is very common and very annoying. So one of the ranged DPS pulled aggro, or maybe the healer, but no, the healer didn't. So one of the ranged DPS pulled aggro, and yeah, this means that the tank has to run yeah, the tank has to follow this mob, and this will mean that if the tank is not extremely good, he will lose a lot of uptime on those mobs, and this results in less threat produced on these mobs. So we have to be even more careful with our own DPS here. In addition to that, the mob that is running away, yeah, so the pet is getting separated. The mobs are getting separated from each other, so they are not clumped up, and therefore a lot of our abilities are not able to hit the maximum amounts of targets they are able to. So I pull cities here, and then I use like the combo that consists out of cleave, sweeping strikes, and whirlwind, like one of the more optimal ways to start your cleave rotation. Let's see here. You can see. So the way you're pulling off this combo, I already explained in the other video, but I will do it again here. So you queue up your cleave, and then you wait until your cleave is like 0.5 seconds away from being triggered via your auto attack, and in this very moment you press your sweeping strikes, And yeah, now you can use two variations. The first variation is you press your whirlwind before the cleave is before the cleave has been triggered. Um, this you can only do if you do not have a Wind Fury proc. Like if you do not have a Wind Fury available, like if you are without a shaman. Where if you are with a shaman, you need to wait until the cleave was triggered before you can press your before you can press your whirlwind. This is really important. The exact reason why this is important, I told you in the video I linked at the beginning, so there is another reason why you should watch this first. Alright, let's see. So I started the combo and now I have enough rage left to do a free hit combo with Mortal Strike, and this is the correct play here. I should not queue up cleave here because I have simply not enough rage to do this. So yeah, you see me using the combo. I pulled aggro and got crit and everything, so this fed me a lot of rage, which is really good, so I can continue my DPS. Yeah, you can see this yellow bar above here. This is this shows me exactly how long my sweeping strikes will be up, and it will show me how much stacks I have left on the ability. So I have this bar here where my rage and my string timer is because um, the number of how long your stripping strikes is going to last, how many stacks you have, how many seconds and milliseconds your string timer is right now, and how much rage you have. Obviously, this everything gets factored into your rotation, so I clumped it up right above my action bar. And the Weakaura link for the Vago.io link for the Weakaura will be in the video description. I think, yeah. So what I do here is I'm planning to do a 3-hit combo with Slam and Whirlwind as the finisher in this case. And yeah, because I have 55 rage and I have the T4 4-set bonus, I'm allowed to do this with queuing up cleave before that. So I queued up cleave, used Slam, and then used Whirlwind. So this pull was an example of me playing relatively well, or even I didn't even make any mistake here. So I use this mob to bank up some rage, and I use two unused trinkets that give me like a damage increase for a short amount of time. If you want to maximize your DPS in a dungeon, you should consider using two unused trinkets, because depending on the options you have available, this might be a DPS increase. Alright, so here I'm going to use this little spider to get a little bit of rage again. And yeah, here we have the next pull, where we pulling these imps and try to line of sight them, which is a great plan. But unfortunately the tank does a huge mistake here. He peeks out to introduce himself to these two imps that are faster than the rest of the pack. And yeah, unfortunately, because he took this little peek, the mobs were starting to cast and didn't continue running around the corner. And yeah, this is like very bad for our DPS, because now we have only two mobs that we can hit and the other ones are chilling in the back. So here I'm like being a little bit impatient, and I start with sweeping strikes cleave, which is correct. If I want to damage these two mobs, this would be correct kinda, because yeah, Whirlwind is not really getting a lot of value because it's only two targets, and the ideal thing would be to yeah, use sweeping strikes cleave and then one in for a whirlwind. But yeah, if yeah, the most optimal thing that I could have done here is to just push into this pack right now, because yeah, I would pull this pack, I would pull aggro on this pack, but it's not a dangerous pack because it's one caster mob and these small imps, so it wouldn't be a problem to do that, and it would increase my DPS. So I should have done it. So now I'm pushing in. It's a little bit late, but at least I'm doing it. Fortunately, the tank joins me on this idea, and we are like introducing ourselves to this pack, and yeah, we start to damage here. I use cleave, and together with victory rush, which consumes a lot of stacks from my sweeping strikes. Now I kill this imp with a victory rush again, and yeah, was a great play because I used a victory rush and I gained another one. I am at 2 stacks of sweeping strikes and I have 4 seconds left, so I'm in good shape here. I cast Battle Shout, and after that I'm scuffing myself a little bit here, like I'm sabotaging myself, because I kind of face away from the mob, and therefore my auto attack will be a little bit delayed here. So what am I doing? Here I use a victory rush on this one, and what happens next? Yeah, I try to. I think I use a cleave here? Yeah, I think I did. No, I didn't use the cleave. Okay, so here this. Besides the small mistake at the beginning of the fight, this was relatively well played, and therefore I got um, like a decent amount of DPS. Yeah, I killed this mob with Victory Rush, which is really good because this way I banked up some rage and I saved the city on my whirlwind. The tank continues. So next pull is happening right now. Mobs are running around the corner, getting LOS. Yeah, here I push in very aggressively with a whirlwind. This will result in me pulling a threat from, yeah, 3 mobs. This is not the fault of the tank. You can actually see that he immediately taunted this one back. So this tank is doing actually a great job, but he has not. I have a lot better gear than him, and I as well didn't give him any time to pull threat here whatsoever. So this is my fault. But like I said, I'm in a noble dungeon and I can take the hits, so this is not really a problem. It will even increase my DPS by a lot. And yeah, what I'm doing here is I'm just using my priorities, using cleave. Yeah, I queued up cleave and used victory rush I got from the last pool, and now I'm pressing berserker rage, and you can see that because I have aggro or because I have 2 mobs attacking me, I get a lot of rage. So therefore I don't use the 3-hit combo method with slam. Instead I'm using the spam cleave method. So I'm using cleave and pressing other buttons alongside this. Here I decided to pummel them up because I kinda was afraid of dying, even though I was almost full HP. But yeah, I still got a little bit scared here. I had the fear from the Shadow Bolt. I decided to kick it. This was a mistake. I shouldn't have kicked it. Instead, I should have just used Cleave and maybe Mortal Strike, get a lot of rage through the Shadow Bolt, and then use my Sweeping Strikes that is coming off cooldown in 2 seconds. And if I would have done this, if I would have done it, I would have been able to deal a lot more damage on this pool, because like you see here, I pummeled it, so I scuffed my own rage gain. I didn't use sweeping strikes. Here I landed a very good whirlwind. The whirlwind landed a killing blow, so it gave me victory rush. So with this victory rush, I can improve my DPS on this pull. So I get another killing blow. Victory rush is ready again. I can use it again, and then I can dish out another cleave into another victory rush and into sword spec proc. I think, yeah, slam into sword spec proc. So this yeah, I got really lucky on this pull. I got a lot of executes, like a lot of killing blows, and in the end the short spec proc. So this saved my DPS a little bit. I was on 1.5k. If I wouldn't have made so many mistakes, um, I would have been able to be at least on 2k here. So here I get get a little bit of distance through to the mobs, because I wanted to give the druid tank the opportunity to gather the mobs. And yeah, I think yeah, here we see the mage pulling aggro again and pulling one mob out of the pack. And yeah, his true evil come through right here. You can see his DPS is on 666. So this really shows you how evil range DPS are in their very hearts. Like they do not want us melees to do any damage whatsoever. So what they're gonna do is they pull aggro, so they separate the pack and they lower the threat from the tank, so that we are going to die and lose our consumables. But you cannot fall. You have to watch out that you are not falling for those devil tricks from the range DPS. So the correct play here is first first think about if I want to use my cooldowns, because they are up. But yeah, we have only clumped up 2 mobs, because one of the mobs is running away because of the evil range. So we got to think about, do we want to use our cooldowns? I think the answer is yes, because over there are only 3 mob packs, so 2 mobs is not that bad. And in addition, there are a lot of patrols running around, so the chances of we first killing one of those single patrols is relatively high. So you want to pull your cities here, or I would want to pull my cities here, which would mean that I use my trinket, my unused trinket. I use my death wish. Then I queue up my cleave, because I'm not in melee range to this mob, right? So I can queue up my cleave here, and then I run into melee range, and like right before I hit melee range, I press sweeping strikes, so my cleave and my sweeping strikes come out immediately, and I would follow this up by a whirlwind and maybe a slam or a mortal strike, depending on the situation. So what I do is I do not pull CDs. First mistake, I do not use sweeping strikes. That's the second mistake. Instead, I am going to skip all of this and use only cleave and whirlwind, which is a big mistake. And now you see me fucking this pull up even more. I use my trinket, but I do not use death wish. And yeah, I use sweeping strikes as well, but I'm only at 50 rage, so I can't even use the sweeping strikes whirlwind combo to open up. So yeah, this is really bad. At least I get the cleave out here, so this is kind of a little gamble. If I would have gotten a Wind Fury proc or a Sword Spec proc right here, this wouldn't be that bad, but in this scenario, everything is pretty scuffed. Here I do the first right decision in this fight, and that is to go for a 3-hit combo with my Mortal Strike finisher. So yeah, this pull was played really badly by me. So here I figured that they will need to pull out one of the patrols first, so I had time to go back and get a little bit of rage from the spider thingy. Let's fast forward again. So we have another AoE pull right here. Tank is gathering the mobs. I am waiting. And here I want to start DPSing. Need to go on this picture. So here I want to start DPSing, right? So the combo we want to do most of the time is with 75 rage. But if you have 100 rage, you can add a slam into the combo. The timing for the slam is of course directly after the cleave. Everything else stays the same. So see me using my Weakaura here as well. So yeah, I queued up cleave. Now I pressed 0.3 seconds before the cleave is triggered. I pressed sweeping strikes, and after that I press my whirlwind. Boom, you see the big explosion of the damage numbers. I am getting damaged because I have aggro and berserker rage active. So I can continue with spamming cleave and other buttons alongside the cleave. So here, slam was just about to say. This execute is was a little bit much, but yeah, I wanted to get the killing blow, so I get the victory rush. Let's see, could I? Yeah, the thing is, in the moment I pressed the execute, I got fed a rage through this mob. Um, before Before that, I didn't had enough rage for the mortal strike, so I pressed the execute, and right in this very moment I got hit. So it looks kind of like a mistake, but it's not really that big of a mistake. So I get the killing blow, which was correct, but I should have gotten it with mortal strike instead. So now I get here get a nice victory rush for that, and the DPS from this pool was relatively good. I made a few mistakes, but not huge mistakes. So yeah, that's why my DPS was relatively high. But I could have done more. All right, let's fast forward again. Single target. We are not caring about this right now. So yeah, hitting spiders here and there again. And there's another single target situation. This is not what we want to see. So here's another AoE one. So let's see what is going on. I CC'd with the tank together, but I can break it with Berserker Rage, which I do, what I do. And yeah, now I press sweeping strikes because my auto attack is just about to happen, and I still have a victory rush. I can press alongside the auto attack and the sweeping strikes, and I know that my victory rush will run out soon. Like the time I can use it will run out soon. So I felt rushed to use it here to get some value out of the ability. Here I queued cleave, but the mob unfortunately went behind me. So I think I'm not able to get it off now. So I needed to press the whirlwind, and yeah, this was a little bit scuffed. The mob ran behind me and fucked me a little bit with that. So now I try to get like in position that I can clip multiple mobs with my cleave. And here I'm spamming cleave and other buttons instead of using 3-hit slam combos, because obviously I have aggro from the whole pack and I'm getting way too much rage. So I'm spamming cleave and try to spam other buttons alongside the cleave, but yeah, I'm not using my hamstring, which I should, because hamstring can proc short spec or wind fury, which would allow me to dish out more cleaves and pump and dump more rage. I'm sitting at 100 rage, way too much here, or way too much. Um, Here I pressed cleave and then I realized I got to do something, so I started spamming hamstring even though my modded strike came off cooldown, which is a mistake again. So sometimes if I get aggro from a whole pack, I get a little bit nervous and I start to make a lot of mistakes. Luckily, our class is dealing a lot of damage, so as long as you're pressing at least some right buttons, you are normally doing a good amount of DPS. But yeah, this is a min-maxi channel, so we don't really care about doing good DPS. We want to do like the best DPS possible. So yeah, kept some rage for the next pull, which is very correct by me. Good done, Counter. Well done. So next pull, let's see what is going to happen here. So again, I make a mistake here. So I have 70 rage. This is what I realize in like, I think, yeah, here I realize I have 70 rage. So my brain is already thinking about using the opening combo for sweeping strikes, right? Like a cleave sweeping strikes whirlwind combo. But what happens now is that the mob is casting a CC on me, and through the dungeon run until now the mage didn't really kick any spells, so I figured that I need to kick this, and I didn't adapt my combo. So see me kicking this here, and now I didn't adapt because I pummeled, I lost 10 rage. So I'm not at the rage threshold I need for the optimal combo. So the correct play would be to use the Sweeping Strikes Whirlwind combo instead of Cleave Sweeping Strikes Whirlwind combo. And yeah, you see me here getting punished for that. So see me using my Cleave and my Sweeping Strikes and then hammering on my keyboard, like spamming the whirlwind button. But then I realized that I do not have enough rage for that, so yeah, I fucked up again. Yeah, this is end of the fight, nothing really happens here. Sadly, I didn't got the auto attack off, so I hadn't banked up more rage for this pack. Let's see what happens in this pull. I used cleave and I lose cleave and whirlwind here because I have no sweeping strikes available, and then I use berserker rage because I have aggro, and starting to spam like spam cleave and and slam, and yeah, see me, see right here, I want to cleave and then slam, right? So I cast slam and then the mob is running away for no reason, so my cleave gets cancelled. This is really nice. So this might confuse me a little bit here. Yeah, you see me here. I try to get my positioning down to hit to clip the mobs with cleave. I get a killing blow, which is nice. I use victory rush charge in on the mob that is running away. This is always a really good idea. If you're doing that, you're protecting your ranges, you're stunning the mob for 3 seconds, and you're helping your tank get the mob back in some cases as well. So yeah, let's fast forward. The boss fight is not really interesting right now. Yeah, killing this mob is not interesting as well. So now we get a little bit of bigger packs here. I um I use here I use Battle Shot, and I use it relatively late, right? So the tank is pulling the mobs, and let's see what is happening. Here the tank is pulling the mobs and Battle Shot will run out in 2 seconds, so you might want to cast it now, but hold that thought. If you cast your Battle Shot now, it will produce threat on the mobs that are running. towards you, so they will run towards you instead of the tank. The druid has not a lot of ways to build up threat in this situation because he can't shout like buffing the group with his shouts like a warrior tank could. So you do not want to buff your battle shout in this situation. You want to wait until the druid has at least some threat on the mobs. So this is why I wait on the battle shout here. So now I cast battle shout and I'm starting to bank up rage. I try to give the tank enough time to build up some threat. I use demo shout because these packs have a lot of hard hitting mobs, and if I pull aggro on one of those, I will be dead in a couple of seconds. So this is why I used my improved demo shout here to 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 give me the opportunity to pull aggro on the mobs. So range is pulling off mobs from the tank again. So this is why this pull gets scuffed again. And here, let's see. So I want to go for my cleave Sweeping Strikes Whirlwind combo here, and I'm missing 2 rage, but yeah, 2 rage most of the time is not a big problem. Most of the time you will get the 2 rage through damage inflicted to you or stuff like this. Like right now, I pulled aggro, so I got the damage fed to me, the rage fed to me that I needed for the whirlwind. I decided to press Berserker Rage here, which is kind of correct. You want to press it as early as possible if you are taking damage. But I'm delaying my whirlwind, so I don't really know if this is right now the correct choice. I think it's debatable, but I would now that I'm seeing this, I would suggest pressing whirlwind here instead, I think. So yeah, then I'm spamming cleave using 3 hit combos with execute as a finisher right here. You see me queuing up cleave and then following it up by the slam, and then I do not have enough rage for mortal strike. Whirlwind is on cooldown, so I use my execute to finish the combo, and I used up all my sweeping strike stacks in with 2 seconds left on the timer, so that was a really good job by me, and like a little bit of lucky as well, like a little bit lucky. So here I should stop pressing buttons. What I do? Correct, good job. So I banked up some rage for the next pool. Let's see how the next pool is happening, or what is happening. So he already pulled. I used blood rage here to gain a little bit of rage, which was an overkill. I should not need to I wouldn't have need to do this because yeah, I need to give the tank a lot of time to build up threat anyways, so I would have been able to just to get the rage I need anyways, and yeah, I shouldn't have used it. In addition to that, you have to consider that getting resource, like getting rage or getting mana through a mana pot or stuff like this, is producing just a tiny bit of aggro as well. So if mobs are running towards your tank and you are LOSing like a pack like this, like on a pool, and you're pressing your blood rage ability, it produces a little bit of threat, and sometimes this means that the mobs are running towards you instead of the tank, and therefore you don't really want to do it. It's the same reason why you don't want to buff your group with a shout in this very moment. So let's see, I again used my improved demo shout. Sadly, I pulled aggro on one of the melee mobs with that. Yeah, I don't know. The tank is kinda good, but I don't know how it is with a druid. But with a warrior tank, with a good warrior tank, this late demo shout would have never pulled aggro on one of the mobs. So I interrupted the spell from the mob because it's the priority here to kick, at least in heroics. And yeah, I want to use my cleave sweeping strikes whirlwind combo, of course, like our bread and butter combo here. It's very dangerous. I already got threat on one of them. The fight just started, so I will pull aggro on heroic. I would be dead after this combo. You can see I am again at like 100 rage, so I could have filled in a slam to the combo or added the slam to the combo, but I didn't, which was a tiny mistake. So now we continue with casting slam and other buttons um, alongside to fish for procs, because we have the rage gain to support this technique. Yeah, here I'm getting a little bit scared. I'm panicking and running away. I still was able to use my sweeping strike stacks, um, like every stack in unless one. Like I missed one charge, so this is acceptable. Yeah, here we have these skeleton packs I want to talk about a little bit. And yeah, how you tackle packs that have a lot of mobs with low HP. So you are not a very good bombing class, so the mages and stuff are better at bombing those packs. So what you want to do is you want to decrease the amount of enemies present in these packs as fast as possible, so you can so the other classes cannot bomb that many mobs at the same time, because you're kept on like 4 targets. So you want to decrease the amount of enemies to 4 as fast as possible, so you can get a little bit of a revenge on your ranges that were scuffing your DPS the whole dungeon anyways. So how you do this is, yeah, you run in with your big combo, and every time you're expecting an enemy to die after a cleave, for example, that you queued up, you're spamming your victory rush um, while your slam is being triggered, so that you instantly continue with dealing damage and hitting, because yeah, so if you're spamming like Mortal Strike and you do not have enough rage for that, then this is bad. So you want to spam the Victory Rush, because it's for free and it can even proc some extra attacks, feed you more rage. Alright, so now continue. Here is one more example of doing the big, like the bombing sabotage. So yeah, here you saw the mage coming in for his fire thingies and the mobs were already dead. So we did a great job of denying his damage in this pool. Yeah, which is really important, because remember, he scuffs up almost every pool for the whole team. So we got to get a little bit of revenge. Alright, here we have another of these skeleton packs getting victory rushes. So you saw me gambling and failing in this moment. Here I queued up the cleave, and I had sweeping strikes active, and this enemy had only 915 HP, so I gambled that my cleave would kill it, and that's why I'm spamming victory rush when the cleave is coming out. There you see me spamming the button. Unfortunately, I missed the gamble and I failed, so the mob was still alive, and therefore spamming victory rush was a little mistake. Yeah, you have to be very fast on your decision making. So, alright, so this is the end of the dungeon video and of the VOD. So I use this opportunity to give you some suggestions. You should practice AoE rotation a lot. I recommend running normal dungeons for that. Ideally, you want to have a shaman, of course. And yeah, after you can record this, of course, like I do, and then you can watch your own VOD, and yeah, you can try to point out your own mistakes, and therefore you will learn a lot in a short amount of time. The other thing I could suggest to you is adding me on Battle.net. I will link my battle tag in the description, and then you can ask me questions in game, or we can go in a Discord call and you can stream your gameplay, and I can, like, with live commentary, criticize, or yeah, give you some tips and point out your mistakes, or even what you are doing very good. So yeah, this way you could learn a lot very fast, especially if you are very new to the class. So yeah, consider this if you want to improve, and we will see each other in the next one.